Welcome to a new Energy Crue Podcast. I'm your host, JP Warren. I'm excited about these new episodes that we're doing. These are the hot seats that we're taking with industry leaders, entrepreneurs, business owners to learn about what drives them, what inspires them, lessons learned along the way, and other fun tangents we get on. And I'm excited, actually, this is the first one we're doing in person in this beautiful Oklahoma City, 35 floors up. And we're going to have a hot seat style roundabout question with my good friend, Randy Nicodemus. And I want you to kind of do a little elevator spiel and kind of your background, who you are, where you're at, and all that stuff before we start diving into questions about leadership, vulnerability, building a business, and leading others and yourself, and whatever other questions that are on this notepad, aka phone that I have in front of me. So, Randy, kick it off. Welcome to Energy Crue Podcast. Give us a little brief update on kind of who you are, and where you're at.
Well, thanks for having me, man. It's awesome to be here. Energy Crue. We are in OKC right now for our Power Lunch
with the Crew Club. That's right.
Yep. And had an absolute blast, and good folks to be around, and good company. So background, let's see, jumped in the oil field 19 years ago, going on year 20.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
I think
it's really wild.
Oh wait, 24. Dude, I'm 19 years in too. 2005.
Awesome. Yeah,
it's crazy.
2005. What
time
month?
flies.
What month?
April 7th.
Okay, so I was June.
Okay,
yeah.
right behind.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
So you can learn from my experience.
Yeah,
you can
absolutely.
learn a little bit more from my experience.
Absolutely.
Is this your first podcast?
This is my second podcast. First with you, though. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, obviously, first with me, I'd remember.
Yeah.
I think the listeners remember that too. So
yeah.
All right. So, because talk to me about your company real quick. Talk to me about 6.5 years ago. Talk to me.
Yeah. So 6.5 years ago, we set out to pretty much provide the service ourselves. You know,
what service? What's the name of your company?
Complete Solids Control.
Thank you.
So we specialize in solids control and fluid management.
Okay.
And so basically the reason for starting it, I saw it. Well, let me back up. It was something I always wanted to do.
Okay.
And then basically the reasons for it changed over time, right? Like number one, it's for you and your wife, and then it becomes you and your first child, and then you and your second and
third,
possibly sixth at some point. Yeah. So the reasons have changed over time, but the initially it was just seeing a big disconnect between service companies and operators, and that.
What was the disconnect?
Really, well, number one, I would say the wrong practices in solids control period.
Okay.
Right. Like the way we were taught to.
Business.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. From a field level on basic, just mechanics and operations to, yes, how you run the business.
Okay.
You know, and just, you see different cultures, right? And you see cultures that are toxic, cultures that are not healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And so you see a place where, hey, I can change that. And that's what needs to change, right? So when you're with so many different companies and those companies lose work because this, that, and the other, you're like, I could do this and I could do it better. You know what I mean?
Love it. Rapid fire question now. So Randy, 6.5 years ago, you started your own company, Complete Solids Control, to bridge that gap on pretty much how business can be done. So
Correct.
I've only been in running a business entrepreneurship 3 years in. I would like to say that things get easier 6 years in. Let me ask you a question. Are things downhill after the 4 or 5 year mark for you?
Downhill as in
things get easier and kind of less stressful and the business is kind of going. Yeah. So are things easier? And how about this? How about it for rapid fire question? I'm kind of shooting from hip right now.
Yeah.
What is easier about, and also what is the same sort of frantic stress levels, chaoticness when it comes to running a business in the last, 6.5 years?
What has gotten easier?
What has gotten easier?
I would say just the basic day-to-day operations of things, right? Because you start to streamline processes, policies, everything from safety to just core values.
Okay.
Building that team around you, obviously hiring smarter people than me to lead the way, right?
Yeah.
So I can help build the business in the way it needs to be built, and they can help run it. And that's basically back to the first question, not to get too off track, was not seeing people in the right places, right?
What do you mean?
Well, having just managers that wasn't managing correctly, that wasn't leaders. You know what I mean? Technicians that wasn't doing technician things right. You know what I'm saying? And then therefore not teaching us right.
Okay.
So it's kind of like the blind leading the blind.
Yeah.
And you just know there's a better way for it. So you put yourself in a position, right, to put other people in position to be successful and change the face of solids control in the way that operators think and look at us.
I dig that, man.
You
So
know what I'm saying?
you're changing not just how companies operate, but also perception of companies.
Correct, 100%.
All right. So, what is the most significant leadership lesson you have learned early in your career?
Early in my
So, for
career.
those starting out their journey, what significant thing can you share? What piece of advice can you have about building a business or leadership that you can share?
Not to get emotional, like your personal emotions. Do not put your personal emotions into it at all. It 100% cannot be involved in your business. And you got to have a team.
Okay.
You got to have a great team. So you got to hire people and build yourself or build your team around involving people that you can trust and that you know are smarter than you to do what they do.
So in today's environment, with everyone being actually no, I'm just gonna leave that at that. Without setting it, with today's environment, how do you lead effectively? How do you lead a team effectively?
How do I lead a team effectively? Good question. So basically, we just try to we implement the hard lessons that we learn. We bring that into basically a weekly sales personal development meeting with the team.
Okay.
Right? Let's not do this. Let's do this. Let's respond quicker. Let's roll out the red carpet no matter what. Let's not get emotional. Let's not get our personal feelings involved. Let's do whatever the customer needs us to do as long as it's safe and it makes sense. Right? And we pour into our managers as well this is kind of crazy because this isn't my first time being a manager, but we read the book First Time Manager.
Okay.
We have like a book club, me and my managers, right?
I love that.
Yeah, so we read a chapter a week, and then every Monday we jump on a call and we talk about the things that we read as a first time manager, right? So we're learning from other people's mistakes, like the leaders before us that are doing this on a much higher level, right? With much bigger firms, that are at the top, like the top 1%ers, we're learning from them. And so that's what we do. So even as a manager for several years now, we're back to square one. Like,
you know what I like about that? I feel like in this day and age, when it comes to like, that's kind of why we're leaning into like personal growth, professional growth. There's not, dude.
There we go. It's still recording. It's okay.
So going back to that, I love that because in this day and age, either it's an Audible or a book that you can read or a podcast. There's not a lot of roundtable discussions that you engage in about lessons learned, have those discussions. So I love that your team does that. So hats off to you all.
And love it that's what you're doing here with the Crew Club, man. It's like being here today, engaging with real people and real discussions. It's you can't compare that to to a PDF download.
Or just being in a major conference, sitting in the audience.
Yeah.
All right. So, what strategies do you use? Listen, you wear many hats. You are a father, a coach, a leader, running a company, CEO, and all that stuff. So, that's a lot. That's a lot of spinning wheels. What do you use to stay?
Time, so inspiration now is the family. It is the team that we have. It is the customers that we make promises to. It's to the to our industry friends here at Crew Club. You know what I mean? Like inspiration to just keep. I got to be doing well to make sure that there's an opportunity for them, for you, right?
That's true.
I mean, it's so true. So that's the inspiration right there. And what was the first part?
How do you stay focused?
How do I stay focused? Wow, hardcore structure. Before bed every night, I have the entire day planned out.
I love that.
Almost by the hour.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because it has to be. Because like you said, kids, sports. Now the older girls are starting to play sports. The team is growing. The company's growing. The promises are getting.
Like get out of your lane and get something. But I think I love how you did that.
Quickly.
That's having intention and focus towards your schedule.
100%.
I love that.
100%.
A lot of times you see a lot of people's day that controls them. They wake up, they get on the phone, they have to do this, they do this. I always say pause, take a break, set your day, whether it's the night before or the morning of.
Yeah, we're too busy to freestyle anymore. You know what I mean?
You can't freestyle. You freestyle, you get in trouble these days.
Man, big time.
I didn't realize. I'm learning that lesson right now.
Yeah.
100%.
And you can't even have fun, right? There's no, you can't have fun if you're just freestyling. Because I don't know, for me, it's like an anxiety thing.
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
100%. And that's funny too, because as an entrepreneurial, like that's what entrepreneur, like that's what you're supposed to do is freestyle. And I just, for me, it's like, I like it, but I need structure.
Train wreck, man.
I like it, but I need structure. Building your business. What were some of the most significant challenges that you faced, I guess, when starting, and how did you overcome them?
Significant challenges.
Starting your business. A solid control company.
Yeah. And having no name.
Yeah.
You know, like my name in the industry, because, you know, we're 6.5 years old. So everything before that, I was in the field. So I have no relationships whatsoever in the E&P world.
Okay.
No, like nobody whatsoever.
Yeah.
And like I said, helping other companies build their business, right? Like a buddy of mine who's no longer with us in another group, helping them build their business. That's what I was hired to do.
Yeah.
So I was able to make my relationships, but I was also bringing home the circus and collecting peanuts at the end of the day. And that wasn't going to work for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Got too big of a family and too big of visions and dreams. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and set out for myself and make it happen. But to the question,
the challenges.
The challenges was not having a name, right? So you're knocking on everybody's door, and like, who are you?
What is the important? That's a great question. I'm not even in here.
I'm saying?
I'm freestyling.
It's okay. Let's do it.
How important is a name when a name, a brand, a reputation, when you are doing business in the oil and gas space or even spaces outside? How important is it?
It's the most important thing, in my opinion. You know, like Omar was saying today at lunch, it's like people remember you for how you made them feel, right? Not so much the things that you say, but how you made them feel, how you treated people. And, you know, early on in our career, was there some folks that probably didn't want nothing to do with us? Sure, because we had the wrong people in the wrong places. But, you know, you learn over time, and obviously we're not the same group anymore. We've learned and grown from those things. But yeah, your reputation is everything. That's why that 90% of our business right now is word of mouth. You know what I mean?
You got to have reputation.
Yeah, reputation.
You can't have word of mouth without reputation.
Yeah, huge.
All right, so let's talk about out there the other people that are trying to scale up. So you said you got to a point, bringing home the circus, collecting peanuts, and all that stuff. What was the position or the what you used to kind of scale up, to kind of like take that next step? Because, for example, I'm in that before 3-year childhood phase of a business right now, and I'm looking to kind of get to that next level. When did you and what did you do to get to that next level, did you feel like?
Whew, you know, obviously nothing happens without God, obviously, but just putting my faith in him and knowing that, you know, as a little boy, right, that there was always huge things ahead.
Okay.
Like, didn't know what it was, like, especially oil and gas.
Yeah.
But whatever it was, and everything that I've ever touched has just went crazy. You know what I mean? So I just always knew. You know what I mean?
Wait, no, stop. That's huge right there. What do you mean everything you touch and all that stuff kind of like shine? Like,
yeah. So, like, for example, my buddy Terry, who's no longer with us, right, who got me into the oil field. We had several businesses together, and you know, because he believed in me, right, as going in there and building this thing. Like, he's got a vision. I share the vision with him. I believe in it. Let's go build it. So any business, whether it was a car dealership or oil and gas, we went out there and I made things happen, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, so you get the job done.
I get the job done. Build businesses.
What's your least favorite thing about building a business?
Doing it myself. You know what I mean? Like, just, I guess at the time it was all by myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like hitting the road by myself, jumping on planes by myself, not having any connections, trying to make a name all by myself, you know, no army. You know what I mean? You see groups that are like established. They've been doing it 20, 30 years and they got, you know, all the support in the world and they have a reputation and, you know, they can walk in anywhere. And just because they've been here 20, 30 years, you know what I mean? There's a safe feeling with that group. And then here's Randy.
Yeah, Randy. Right? Yeah, Randy coming in, knocking on our door for the first time.
No college. Yeah, we don't know him from college. He didn't go to college.
Yeah.
We have no history. Like, who
are you?
Why Randy? You know what I mean?
What would be the playbook if you were to? Okay, so there's a lot of people out there that probably might feel behind networking, or maybe don't have a name, or maybe this, maybe that. What would be pages out of your playbook to not only establish a name such as you did, but also kind of get those networks and kind of get plugged in? And obviously this is like, I'm not talking about like Crew Club, but I'm talking about like early in your career, like what stuff out of your playbook to like get on the ground, get that name, get those connections to build your.
You got to trust in yourself.
Hold on, I'm gonna start that over.
Okay.
I'm gonna start that over. Listen, we're having technical difficulties. It's apparently overcast here, so there's not the Wi-Fi service kind of in and out. So the question I want to ask Randy is that starting your career, without any connections, without a name and all that stuff, what are some playbook, some pages out of your playbook to kind of guide people that are starting kind of in those situations that maybe that want to start their own business without the connections, without the name, or that want to build it?
You got to believe in yourself 100%. You got to believe in what you're in your product, and you just have to stay consistent. I mean, it's kind of old school, but like getting out there and getting the name and trying to, prove yourself to everybody, because that's what I have to do, right? That's what you got to do, is prove yourself. Nobody knows who you are. You may not, like me, you probably don't have the money to go out there and buy an oil field service company. You know what I mean?
Or sweet tickets to Taylor Swift when she comes in.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It just don't have it like that. So here we are knocking on doors, and I come from, it's old school. I mean, I used to sell magazines door to door. You know what I mean? Like they would pick me up, drop me off.
Magazines, or you go through them.
And I didn't show up with a magazine. It was just a subscription in my mouth. You know what I mean? So, and I was the top lead.
That's impressive, though. That's impressive.
Yeah, but that's the old school mentality, is like, you just got to believe in yourself, trust in your product, know what you're doing, why you're doing it, be passionate about it. And that's what people will see. You know what I mean? And you got to stay consistent. So like, message.
Come on.
Listen, it was my first MSA ever. Complete Solids Control's first MSA ever. Yes, it was from, I left the message and he called me back.
I love that.
Yeah. This was 8 years ago too. Well, it wasn't CSC, forgive me. It was from my buddy's company at the time, but still, that's a victory. Yeah, exactly. So first win for sure.
So how do you deal with rejection? Like,
yeah.
I mean, how do you deal with rejection? You're starting a company, you get a lot of no's, got this and that. Like, how does that continue to motivate you? Or does it?
Yeah, it does. It does. Like our guy said earlier today at lunch was, I'm paraphrasing, but he takes some of the negative as fire and fuel, and that's what used to light me up. But to be able to accept rejection, I was rejected a lot of my life, man. Growing up in the rougher parts of Dallas, being the only white complected kid in the neighborhood, you know what I'm saying? Like, we were up against struggles daily. So it was constant rejection. So getting doors slammed in my face was like, kind of like, in a way, part of life, you know what I mean? So, just understanding that, for every so many people that don't want anything to do with you, there's somebody out there looking for you. You know what I mean?
I dig that.
Yeah.
All right. So, hey, listen, we're getting on 20 minutes here. We appreciate everyone's time out there. What, if you had anything, what legacy, what advice what guide, what path of guidance would you give out there to people kind of tuning in right now that are interested about building their own empire?
Man, and of course that's going to change over time too.
Oh yeah, there's no right answer right now.
That'll be different a year from now, but I would just say again, believe in yourself. Stay focused. Don't let anything or anybody get you off track, and know why you're doing it. You know what I mean? And wake up every day and just stay consistent and go 100% in everything. You know what I mean?
You've also mentioned many times during a lot of conversations too, and probably because we're wrapping this up. You've also mentioned something about people around you and teams and all that stuff. What about the team side of or the building a team side of it? Would you have?
You just have to, early on, like I said before, I made decisions on people that I thought were the one, and come to find out it was the complete opposite. You have people stealing from you along the way, lying to you along the way, doing underhanded. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. They'll take you for everything you got if you're not paying attention. But for us, I can't be perfect at everything that I do. I like to say, you know what I mean? But I do pay very close attention, but just surround yourself with good quality people. If you can surround yourself, they don't even need the experience, because you can teach you can teach somebody how to do something, as long as they have the willingness to show up and to learn, and they're a good quality human being like yourself, JP.
Well, also what we talked about, the intention and attitude, positive attitude, like a good attitude.
100%. I mean, then that's what you need, right? Like I'd rather have somebody, and we say it all the time, we got 20-year veterans out there that do, what we do, and they can do it with their eyes closed, but got horrible attitudes, and nobody wants to work with them.
And honestly, here's the deal too. No one wants to help you out when you're in a pinch.
Like your own management team doesn't want to help you out in a pinch. They don't want to be around you.
I love this. Randy, let me ask you a question. How can people find you? How can people get in contact with you, and how can people connect with you?
Yeah. So LinkedIn is pretty simple.
I don't know what this was. I don't know why I was doing this. So. How can people do this? I have no idea.
LinkedIn, Randy Nicodemus. You can follow our page, Complete Solids Control. We got Instagram, Complete.
I think all the social media platforms are equal when it comes to kind of exposure.
You know, I wouldn't say equal. You know what I mean?
I know.
We see our teams obviously shows us the analytics, if you will, of engagement and stuff like that. And I mean, we do every platform just because, you know, you I mean, man, come on, you're an entrepreneur or you don't have a name or you're trying to get out there. You need to be everywhere. Yeah. You need to be everywhere at the same time. And that social media allows you to do that. So, you know, that's what, do I think they're equally as effective for our industry?
Yeah.
Not equally, but still, you know, you still got to get, we hit them all.
I dig that. So what other podcast can we find Randy on?
Oh, the Krista Escamilla show.
Okay.
You can find, we did an episode with Krista and her husband, Al, and it was awesome to be there and good folks over there and right here on Energy Crue.
I love it. I love it. Well, everyone, thank you for tuning in, Randy. Always great hanging with you. Thanks for coming up to OKC for this. Anytime. And then later we got a little EMP connection mix where we're bringing the SPE students, interns to kind of bridge the generation between, you know, current professionals, you know, the future generation and all that. But everyone, thank you out there for Energy Crue. Treat people right. Surround yourself with people, with good people. Right. Believe in yourself. Believe 100%. In yourself.
I know it sounds kind of like cliche, but listen, man,
all the cliche stuff though makes sense.
It really
believe
is.
Yourself.
It's very simple. It's when we start over, like you were telling me earlier, man. Sometimes you're just overthinking your own self. But let me tell you something. If you don't believe in yourself, right? How are you going to look in front of someone who you're trying to get an opportunity from? True. If you don't even believe in yourself, how bad would that hurt you? So obviously, how much will it help you by believing? That's belief is everything.
And I also want to touch, like, even if you have series of sometimes self-doubt or sometimes imposter syndrome and all stuff, like that doesn't mean you don't believe in yourself. That just means, like, at the same time, that's one of those things I think you should pause and say, wait a minute, why am I doing this? What's my purpose? Not only that, wait a minute, I've made it this far. I made these all these successes.
Right.
I'm not worried about the self-doubt. I'm going to keep on moving
forward.
Look
where you are right now.
Yeah,
and obviously you're scaling. So all the way up it is.
All the way up. Hey, you heard it here on Energy Crue. Check out Randy. Check out Complete Solids Control. Always appreciate it.
Thank you,
I guess everyone else, keep your energy moving in the right direction, which is what? Positive and up? I don't know.
That's it.
That kind of makes sense. Go with it. All right. See y'all later. Thanks for tuning in.